For the adventurous among us who dream of seeing the world, the pinnacle of road trips is the Pan American Highway. All the way from Alaska to Argentina, it's 19,000 miles through diverse landscapes across all of the Americas. And I can't imagine that there would be a better way to do the Pan American Highway than in a Sprinter van. This has always been a dream of mine as well. So as I was building out my van, this is exactly what I had in mind. I wanted to build a van that was expedition ready and could take me all the way from the Arctic to the Antarctic with everything I need. So I want to give you guys a tour today of my personal van that is really just getting finished after 2 years in process, and show you how I built out an expedition ready van that would destroy the Pan American Highway. When I think of an expedition ready van, it needs to have these 3 characteristics. It needs to be off-road, off-grid, and built to last. One thing that's super important is to have confidence wherever you go, knowing that you have everything you need and can get out of trouble. So first, off-road capability is a must. Let's take a look at what we've added to the van so that we can tackle any road, no matter what it throws at us. Starting with, we've done a wheel and tire upgrade, so 17-inch rims with some off-road capable tires. And also having it mounted here on the back is super important. A full-size spare, you're gonna have to change it at some point, and this is the way to do it. Coming over here, we have an Alvan's Sherpa with some Max Tracks on it, and this is kind of my winter setup, so I have the DeMoss shovel on here now. Doing a Pan American trip, some of these components would likely be changed out. I would like to have a big box back here for a trip like that. But just so you have the ability to get out of sandy situations, snow potentially, these are a must. We have a Van Compass 4.5 suspension kit on the van as well. It's electronically controlled and allows us to have a lot more comfort on the road. Obviously, a bunch of the roads are probably going to be really terrible on a trip like this, so a suspension kit is pretty much a must. One of the upgrades that you can't see but is super important is a limited slip differential. So we have the off-highway van's limited slip installed on the rear axle, and that allows the van to distribute power to both of the rear wheels when you get in trouble and you get stuck in mud, sand, or snow. Another thing to keep in mind, and this is one of the reasons why we love the Sprinter so much, is that there is adequate clearance all under the van. I wouldn't anticipate rock crawling and getting into really sticky situations on a long trip, because you kind of want to play it safe, but there are going to be times when high clearance is a must. Getting through small rivers, I'm imagining, going over rocks and branches that might be on the road. Sprinters are great because they have a lot of clearance. All right, coming up to the front, a couple more things that are super important. The front bumper by CA Tuned with the winch on it. We have some D-rings, attachment points, and off-road lights. I would say these are pretty much a must on a long trip. You're gonna need the lights because getting on rural roads, in the dark, in the mountains, you can see so much more with these than you can with the standard headlights. The winch comes in handy whether you're on a big trip or not. I've been stuck several times. I've gotten people out of sticky situations with that. So obviously you want to have a winch on board. And then the bumper, this will give your front end some protection and keep the van going if you do end up running into something. The next characteristic that is super important for an expedition ready van is that it runs off-grid. So we don't want to have to rely on plugging into electrical outlets or constantly being in town to resupply. So this van is built to truly be off-grid. A couple of the features that it has are the 400 amp hour lithium power system, and that is going to be powered off of alternator charging, solar, and then if we did have some electrical, we could plug in and charge the batteries overnight. But generally with the alternator and the solar panels, there should be plenty of power on board to go basically endlessly without having to plug in. The second is an adequate water system. We have 48 gallons of fresh water storage on the van, and that's a lot. I think on a trip like the one we're talking about, The most common thing that you're gonna run out of first is water. So being able to carry a lot of water, first of all, and then also to be able to fill the water at places other than a pressurized hose is important. So we would be carrying on board a pump to pump out of creeks or to pump out of lakes where there is clean water, and we don't have the ability to get pressurized water into the van. The next feature would be a Starlink. So I've definitely been in situations before where I got a van stuck, and one time had to hike over 5 miles to get a cell phone signal towards the end of the day as the sun was going down, just to get help and get a tow truck to come get me out of a stuck situation. Having a Starlink on board is total game changer, because no matter what, as long as I'm not in some tree covered area, I'm gonna have a view of the sky, which gives me the ability to connect to Starlink and get out of trouble, first of all, but also just check in. What's the weather gonna be like? What are the roads like? Let the family know how we're doing, that sort of thing. So being able to connect to the internet wherever you are, I would say in this day and age, is a must on an expedition ready van. The last feature that I wouldn't do this trip without is the 47-gallon diesel fuel tank. There, I'm sure, would be many situations where diesel is going to be very hard to find, and having a capacity that gives you over 700 to 800 miles on a single tank is just the peace of mind that you need to go out without having to think about immediately where is the next place that I'm going to get fuel. Let's take a look inside the van. I'll show you guys the layout and how everything is set up for an expedition. But before we go in, one honorable mention is the Fiamma awning. That just is a great option to have, because I can imagine many scenarios where it's raining outside, and when you pull the awning out, it gives you twice as much space out of the rain as you would just have inside the van. So if you get back from a hike or something and want to get some of the wet clothes off or clean up, to have the awning out would be awesome. Also in the heat, when it's really sunny and you just need extra shade, you want to have the door open but not the sun coming in. So the Fiamma awning, that is another one that I probably wouldn't want to do the trip without. All right, let's take a look inside. One of the reasons people build a custom van like this is because they want the highest quality components, which don't typically come with production line vans. So if I'm going to be on a trip for weeks, months, or potentially years, I don't want systems breaking down. If they do break down or have a problem, then I want to be able to easily access them and repair them. So we have built this van with all of the highest quality components on the market today, and we've arranged them and situated them in such a way that if you do need to access something like the power system, the water system, the refrigerator, the heater, or any of the other components that could potentially break down, they're all easy to get to. They're labeled and laid out in a way that you can just get in there, find the problem, and fix it. All right, so let's take a look inside the van, and I'll give you a quick tour of the layout. There's not a ton of room inside a 144 Sprinter, so you really have to think about where everything's gonna go and try to maximize every square inch that you have. And this layout really does it for me. This is the Ramble by Infinity Vans. It has a full Ramble kit and all the cabinetry, and I really like the layout of this. Using the Flare Space flares, we have a nice comfortable bed in the back that you sleep east to west. So plenty of room for 2 people to comfortably sleep on a bed like this for weeks or longer on end. A pretty substantial galley. On a long trip, cooking and cleaning is really important. I certainly don't want to have to go find a restaurant every night. So being able to cook here with a nice deep sink, an induction cooktop, and plenty of drawers to store all of the kitchen stuff, this is a wonderful feature. At the front of the galley, we have an isotherm 85 drawer fridge, so you can access that from outside the van or inside the van. And this is one of those components where there are definitely cheaper refrigerators on the market, but I want the one that is proven and tested and is gonna work. So building with the highest quality components, like I said, often means that you're gonna spend a little bit more upfront, but you're gonna get a piece of equipment that you can rely on. One of the other things I wanted to show you guys was a camp stove that we keep with us. So the van does have an induction cooktop, but also there are situations where you want to be able to cook outside or you need an extra burner. And this is a pretty cool compact stove. So even for instance, if we're going to be cooking bacon or something else that splatters and you don't want it inside the van, we can open up this little drop-down countertop here and put the stove on it, or it could go out to the picnic table or whatever. It's just nice to have an additional way to cook. If I was running out of power for some reason and didn't want to use the induction cooktop because it does draw a fair bit of power, this is kind of the backup so that you're always able to heat your food up and do cooking without always having to use the induction. Another cool thing on the outside of the galley here is we have an outdoor shower connection with hot and cold water. So this is a really great place to put it. Most people have outdoor showers in the back of the van, which we do as well, but to have an additional one here, if you're getting into the van and you need to clean up quickly, you're a little bit muddy, or maybe you're doing some of your cooking out here and you don't want to get to the sink, to have a shower outlet and a shower hose right here is it's awesome. Just a little bit more in the galley because the whole van has tons of storage. I definitely think there's enough storage in here to go for multiple months, if not a year in the van. We have 3 drawers here in the galley. Under the sink, plus an additional extra large drawer here under the cooktop. So there's tons of storage in the galley. And then up top, we have the 3 cabinets that are kind of in the kitchen area. So all of your foodstuffs here, we keep like spices and coffee and whatnot in this. And then the most forward one here is the power center. And I will also use this as a charging station because there's plenty of power here to charge all the devices. Okay, a couple more mentions on storage within the van. There are 2 cabinets here over the bed. That's a great place to keep clothes or other things you need to get to when you're in the bed. We have a shelf mounted over the driver and passenger seat. That's great for storing window covers, jackets, gloves, just things that you get in the van, you take off, and you want a place to store them. A couple more mentions here. We have the Arctic Tern skylight over the bed. I really love that. I like to be in bed and see the stars. It's great for ventilation on hot nights because one of the things this van does not have is air conditioning on the roof. And so ventilation is super important. So we have the skylight in the back, we have a max air fan up front, and then we have 3 other vented windows with screens throughout the van. Finally, the S-bar heater, which is under the passenger seat. Not having heat in a van is a deal breaker for most people traveling on a long trip. I could imagine that getting used almost every day of a long trip. Even in the summer, cold mornings, it's just really nice to have a heater to heat up the interior of the van and also to help dry things out. Another key feature of having a van that you're going to spend a lot of time in is having a comfortable place to sit and work and eat. So one of the things I've always loved about the Ramble is that it has this dinette seating and it's really comfortable for 2 people. And when one person is sitting here, if you have 2 people on the trip, you're out of the way completely of the other person really doing whatever they want to do. They could climb out of the bed, get underneath, walk in and out. Having a window here, I can imagine being in a really remote spot, having the Starlink on, having the laptop open, and feeling like connected to the world, but at the same time, totally away from everyone else. So yeah, having the dinette here, I think a lot of vans don't consider like where are you gonna sit and do your activities after you stop. So for me, this is perfect. Underneath this bench seat, there are also 2 more drawers. So in this one, I keep electronics like my drone, iPad, and other things. And then in the bottom one, there's even more storage. In the front dinette seat, we keep the Dometic toilet, a little garbage can, and all of our cleaning supplies like brushes, dustpan, and everything. So a little station there to just kind of keep everything clean. Another awesome feature of this van is the fact that you can turn the dinette quickly into a lounger. One more spot to kind of get comfortable and relax. And if you have been traveling all day, or you did a big hike to some amazing waterfall in the middle of nowhere, and you have the ability to come back here and not just climb into bed, but actually sit up and have a place to relax, this is super cool. Let's head around back and I'll show you the garage space and the systems that are part of this build. As you can see with this setup, plenty of storage space under the bed. There are also two large storage doors here, one here and one forward of it. The water system is contained in this side of the van and the power system over here. So when we talk about having high quality components, you definitely don't want to skip on the water and power systems. The power system is all Victron and it's lithium ion battery storage, and all of the connections are done. The heavy gauge wire is soldered and the small gauge wire is using Wago connections, which are really sturdy. And if you ever need to get in there and do some work, it's really easy to work on the system. The water system, it's plumbed with Propex. So if we get into really rattly situations or freezing situations, that is gonna be our best option for having a water system that doesn't leak and doesn't actually need any repair. Another thing to mention here, and this is really important to me, we have the incline water heater on board. So that is a heat transfer off of the engine, meaning that anytime you're driving, there's always hot water. And if I think about going on a trip for days, weeks, months, or longer, to not have to worry about how I'm gonna heat water is a big plus. So whether you use an electric water heater, which uses a lot of power, or a propane water heater, which you'd constantly have to be refilling propane, the incline heater just gives you hot water basically every day, and you don't have to think about it, and you don't have to put any energy towards it. Most people who are building out a van always have other things that they want to add, and the van is never truly done. And I am that person as well. So I'm thinking about a few other things that I would really like to add to this van, especially if it was going on a big expedition. As I mentioned, I would put a monster box on the back so that I had some storage for things that were like dirty or rattly, or I just did not want to keep inside. I would also seriously think about putting a cargo slide under the bed. So the gear that's in there is easy to access by just pulling out the cargo slide and then kind of having everything organized in boxes that don't have to be slid in and out each time. Two other things that I definitely would add are an air compressor. I want the ARB dual compressor under the hood. It's not installed on this van yet. And I would run a couple lines, one to the back and then probably one to the base of the galley, so I had air in multiple places. And then the final upgrade, if I was to seriously do a trip where I was gonna be in the backcountry for long periods of time, would be the skid plates. So Van Compass makes a really good skid plate system, and that's just something that's gonna protect, the engine, the transmission, the differential, and the fuel tank, depending on which one you have. Just gives you some underside protection so you're not getting in trouble by damaging the underside of the vehicle. For those of you who have done an expedition in a van, or you're thinking about it and you're building your own van, please leave a comment on the video, because we would love to hear what your must-have accessories are. I certainly don't want to miss out on them, and I know our other viewers don't either, so please share your feedback. Also, subscribe to the channel, because we're gonna do more upgrades on the van, and we're gonna get out and test everything and hopefully get out on an expedition very soon, and we'd love to have you guys come along. Thanks again so much for watching, and we will see you guys again next time.